Welcome to HBRV Lifestyle. We are live, and as you know, they call me the Honey Badger because I give it to you straight and transparent about the RV business. And today we have a lot to talk about. We're going to cover some questions, but I'm pretty upset with Forest River right now, okay? Specifically the Cardinal fifth wheels, okay? And I know I use okay a lot when I'm on the live stream, so you guys will have to pardon me, okay? I'm going to read some text messages I've been sharing with a customer who has had nothing but problems with a Cardinal red fifth wheel. So if you're not familiar, there's two Cardinals. Hi, Karen. There's two Cardinal lines. There's the Cardinal red, and then there's the Cardinal, we'll call it high profile, mid profile. So there's different steps. So Cardinal red is really entry level, weekend type of fifth wheel. You use it, I don't know, 4 times a year, your normal trips. You don't typically live in a Cardinal red, okay? Not typically. Then you have your limited editions, which is the in-between high profile, and then you have your luxury, okay? Well, this family, what's going on with them is they bought a Cardinal red from a dealership in Missouri. And it was apparently there's 4 locations to this dealership. I'm going to see if I can remember. Let me see if I can find the name of the dealership because they need to be called out. Dealer RV dealership Missouri. They really need to be called out because what they have done is absolutely horse manure. 1 second. Let me see if I can find the name of them. One second. Let me go to Cardinal. We're going to go to Forest River, and we're going to go Cardinal, and we're going to go to Fifth Wheels, because I want to get the name of the dealership right, because the dealership that sold these people this fifth wheel are crooks. And I don't normally say that, but you can tell that they are the main reason why these people are in the position they are. And these guys need to get called out, because when you do something wrong as a dealership, especially when you're Missouri zip code. 1 second here. St. Louis, Missouri zip code. We'll use 39520. 39520. Cardinal, I'm not a robot. Berryland Motors and Campers, I believe. No, that can't be it. I'll get the name later. I'll put it in the post. But these guys did nothing. Basically, they transported it from one of their other stores. It's a 36 MB. And the bedroom slide had been hit. And they tried to cover it up. And we're not talking about, oh, it scratched it. This had, by the pictures I was sent, the dealership probably took a forklift, lifted the fifth wheel, had the bedroom slide out, pulled it out, and impacted it with something at a pretty good force. Okay? Now, guys, I want to say this because this is one of the small and rare cases where frame failure happens because of an impact. Okay? So because they try to cover it up, there were slow signs that the frame was failing, including cabinets starting to fall down out of the coach, so on and so forth. But where I'm mad with Forest River Cardinal is this young lady has time stamped photos of different other warranty items, and those warranty items have not been fixed. Now, we're not talking about cosmetic stuff, we're talking about other things. So, this young lady, who full times, unfortunately, okay, because really, I mean, it's tough when you got kids, and especially with one of the kids being sick, and, just recently had surgery, and you basically have sold your home, you've moved into a fifth wheel with all your kids. The dealership that sold it to you pretty much shoved it out the door, not explaining that it'd been hit. All these things add up to something that makes me upset, because reality is this lady needs to be taken care of. Her family needs to be taken care of. So if Forest River, anybody at Forest River is listening to this, you need to take a look and help this lady, because the dealership and then the warranty department wants to turn her down for things that should be fixed to make the thing operational. We're not talking about trim falling off necessarily. We're talking about major electrical issues. And then here's the really screwed up part. So they're in North Carolina right now, I believe. And they took it to a service shop to have this thing worked on. And there were items that were approved, and they left the coach a disaster. So I don't know what's going on the East Coast, because I typically don't get those stories from the central states or the West Coast. I don't know what it is about the East Coast and dealerships. Now I'm starting to kind of have an understanding why customers keep telling me that dealerships are a ripoff and con artists. I'm starting to find that a lot of those people talk about dealerships in places like Ohio and Virginia and the Carolinas and the South, like Tennessee, Georgia, Missouri. I don't understand that. If you pulled any of that crap on the West Coast, you'd be out of business. Because there's not when you get west of the Mississippi River, there isn't that many people. The supermajority of our population live east of the Mississippi River. Even though there's more land on the west, east is where the population is. So I guess you can, again, this is just me talking out loud, okay? I'm trying not to have any hyperbole or anything like that. But it seems like to me, these stories tell me that there's so many customers that they feel like they can just keep on going and they'll stay in business forever. That the business practices are not aligned with how folks on the West treat things. Okay? So it kind of tells me, and thanks guys, I'm sorry, I'm going to be running through this, okay? It tells me that the West Coast people that drive all the way to the East Coast because they save on freight, that's where we're having the majority of these dealership customer service problems. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm different, I guess. I just feel like somebody should take care of this young lady. It's really ridiculous. It really is. Nothing has worked properly. And a lot of it stems from the dealership hitting the coach. When you have an impact against a slide out like that, with the slide out open, it tweaks the frame. Okay. That's why, like, when we do body shop work, when we have someone that walks into the dealership lot and says, hey, we had our slide out hit, or we had, somebody ran into our slide out backing out their unit or pulling their unit forward through a campground and they hit our slide. A lot of times, insurance inspectors are going to go look at the frame when you put in a claim like that because it tweaks the frame. As much as I talk crap about Grand Design RV and Lippard not taking care of customers and trying to point the finger at this is a customer issue only. This is one of those few times where it isn't the customer or the manufacturer, this was the dealership. And I think they need to be held accountable. I will, when I'm done with this live stream, when I repeat it, when it goes on repeat after we go live, I will pin a comment with the name of the dealership because I'm pretty sure she texted it to me. But let me send you some of the let me read some of the text messages this young lady sent me, okay? Let me see. Oh, I don't have them. Oh, I didn't screenshot them. Okay, I'll have to do that later. But part of it was like cabinets falling off, nothing holding together in the front cap. It's just a sad situation. It's really, really pathetic. And again, what I'm going to recommend to everybody is three things. Number one, do not believe if the price is over $100,000. I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. If the price is under $100,000 on a brand new fifth wheel, it is not four season full-time ready. I don't care what they stamp on it. They could put whatever marketing tool they want. If you're not spending 125, 130, 150, 200 grand, these regular fifth wheels are just campers. That's controversial because a lot of guys are going to call me later, you can't be telling them, we rate it full time. Well, then build it for full time, because when you get into the Jayco Pinnacle, you get into the higher end Keystone Montana, not the high country, the big Montana. You get into mobile suites, you get into Redwood, you start getting into Coachman Brookstone if they're still going to build it. You get into Forest River Riverstone, Forest River Cedar Creek. You get into Alliance Paradigm. Things of that nature. You're spending more than $100,000 in most cases, and you're getting the package that is appropriate for that. You obviously want to make sure it has some form of independent suspension, especially if you're going to take long trips. If it doesn't, you want to upgrade that, right? The very next thing you really want to look at is not the insulation factor, but how is it constructed? Is it a pinch roll? Is it a hung wall? Or is it vacuum bonded? Is it what's their lamination process? How does that process work, right? That's the research items you should do. My wife and kids are in Oregon right now in a Keystone Cougar fifth wheel. We can live in that thing if it's standing still. Would I take it on the road and full time in it? Absolutely not. It's an entry level fifth wheel that just happens to have an Arctic package, that happens to have some of the things that are conveniences that we have to do a little bit less to the fifth wheel to camp in the winter full time. Okay? So the reality is you got to spend some money to go across the country in a fifth wheel. Now, travel trailers are a little different. When you go into a Cougar travel trailer, a Flagstaff Rockwood, you go into a Jayco Eagle, an Alliance Paradigm, in some cases the Solitude trailer, even though I'm not a fan of Grand Design at all. You look at Northwood Manufacturing, you start looking at the outdoors RV travel trailers. It's a different scenario. You're lower to the ground. It's a different world when you full time in a travel trailer than it is when you full time in a fifth wheel, because the weight ratio, the towing, the length, all those things. No, it's Cardinal. Red, Donnie. Cardinal. Cardinal. So all these things are factors, right? So if a dealership is telling you that a 55,995 fifth wheel, brand new 2024, 2023, 2025 is full-time capable, I call BS. That's a weekend camper. That's something you go out for a week to the lake, or maybe you're going to travel to a national park for a week. It's not something you take 1,500 to 3,000 miles a year in. Could you spend the money to upgrade it to be that way? Absolutely. But if your budget is not set at $100,000+ to do the full-time travel across the country thing in a fifth wheel, then you really need to look used, or you need to look at travel trailers, or just do some of these DIY things. There's a lot of DIY channels all about RVing and places like that will tell you the upgrades you need to personally put on those units. So you're going to spend the money one way or the other, because the number one thing I really would like to tell people, okay, is you do not want to put yourself in a situation where you get told by a salesperson that something extremely untrue. Like, I've stopped people for years and go, no, you don't want a full-time in that unit. Come with me. You need to start thinking bigger money. You need to take your $400 budget up to about $800 so we can get you into something that is going to have less problems. Not saying no problems, but less problems. Right? You can't, in this industry, you can't go full time and go across the country on a water budget, because it's going to come up with a lot of problems. Okay? Now, I'm not blaming this lady whatsoever. I think I've had 2 conversations with her. I've texted her back and forth. I feel extremely bad for her and her kids and her husband. I think what they're going through is absolute horse crap. What just happened with them at the service center is horse manure. I am calling on Forest River to step up. Step up and do the right thing. And if you could do the right thing and get her fixed up and get her on the road, I'll help her get her out of her unit and put her into something that's going to be more or less helpful to her. That way everybody benefits. Because I'm going to tell you that this is the type of young lady, if someone helps her, she's going to do nothing but sing their praises. When you start screwing people over like this that have goodwill nature, you start to piss people off like me. And you don't want to piss me off. Because once I get mad, you become the center of my attention. Now, you have to understand, Forest River, in general, owns tons of brands, and it's split up into several divisions. Okay? And I hope that division manager / VP watches this podcast and reaches out to me, because we need to take care of this young lady. It ain't going to cost you very much money to take care of this young lady. It'll cost you more down the road. And we need to show, and this is a shout out to every single RV executive that watches the podcast and watches this channel. Because of the problems that Grand Design has caused through their customer service practices, not just the problem with the fifth wheel and the frame failure and the frame flex. I'm I'm not just talking about that. I'm talking about the customer service side. If you want the fifth wheel industry to get back to some kind of normalization, we need to take care of these type of folks because they're the ones at the campsites talking about this. They're the ones that are out there giving the word of mouth. And what happens at the end of the day is if the industry does not start learning to take care of their people, and this is a general statement, there are a lot of brands that take care of you. I know Rockwood Flagstaff takes care of people. I know Arctic Fox takes care of people. I know for the most part, not all the time, but for the most part, a lot of the Keystone brands take care of people. Jayco, I know, takes care of people. I know the majority of them do. But there is enough brands out there that are just absolutely only caring about their own pocketbook rather than caring about growing. Here's something. Freedom Express is amazing. Freedom Express is absolutely amazing. It's been a great product for years. Okay. One of the things that, how do I put this without having any foul language today? How do I put this? Nice, as politically correct on the channel as I can. I guess there really isn't a way. So, to come straight out with it, manufacturers, if you're a general manager of a plant, you're not going to hit your bonus this year. Get over it. All these GMs get a bonus check, normally. The guys that run the factory. Their salary is really small compared, it's like a normal white-collar job salary. They make the money on their bonus. That's where they get all the money. It's all how do I put this? It's basically a commission job at the end of the day. Okay? You have all this responsibility. All the general managers that run the plants, all the plant managers, all have this huge responsibility, gets a small little paycheck, okay? But if they do everything right, they get a nice big chunk at the end of their fiscal year. Like a big commission check. You're not going to get that this year. Scratch it off your list. You're going to struggle financially this year. But if you take care of the customer, if you take care of the industry, if you build a better product and you build a better customer service system where people are taken care of, you're going to get taken care of 10 years from now. You're going to get taken care of for the next 10 years. I swear to you, whatever general manager of a major factory, the first one to say, screw it, I'm not going to make the money, I'm going to have to dip in my savings to pay all my bills this year, let's just start taking care of the customer. Let's just start taking care of people where they talk good about us. I guarantee you, you will make yourself extremely rich. The manufacturers that start taking care of the customer, the general manager is going to get absolutely filthy rich because they learn to take care of the customer, which means they're going to get positive feedback from the campsites, which means positive feedback online, which means what? More customers will want to buy. Period. Okay? And I'm not talking about nitpicky warranty stuff. That should always get taken care of. Normally it does. But you're going to have problems. Nothing's going to change as far as it's an earthquake on wheels. You can make the earthquake as best as you can, but it's just like a car. It's going to have its problems. It's going to have its replacement parts. It's a moving vehicle. It's a fact of life. But it's how you take care of the people afterward that makes the difference between people saying, God, man, That freaking Forest River Cardinal, they took such good care of me. Even though my kid has had surgery, even though I've been out so much money because of hotel bills, I've been screwed over by the dealer, I've been screwed over by the service area. But you know what? Cardinal took care of me when it counted. How many people are going to start researching, wonder what Cardinal has? Instead of, oh my God, we feel like we're getting ripped off. My head's gonna melt. I'm gonna break down and cry. These people aren't taking care of me. They're absolutely full of crap. What do we ever do this for? That kind of thing destroys not one customer, but it starts making other people that are around them and directly connected to them. It makes them not want to buy either. So think about that, right? So the reality is, and I'm going to read you guys something. This is, I don't know if you guys know, I'm going to do a separate podcast episode to go deeper into this. But Lazy Days RV had their earnings call. And before I go deeper into it, what I want to read is I want to read the text messages that I screenshotted to my email that came from several people that are on the financial sector. We're talking about Wall Street, investors with major funds. They've been communicating with me because, well, who knows why? Maybe they just enjoy the fact that they like my podcast. But here's what I'm going to do. Let's go to this, okay? Let me go. No, that's about the Grand Design warranty. We're going to get into that a little bit later. Okay. Where is that first page? Oh, man. It's got to be the first email. Oh, man. Summary. Oh, okay. So it says here we go. Lazy Days RV had their earnings call, and it wasn't bad. It was a even absolute catastrophe. And then let's go up to this one where he goes on to say, besides the earnings press release and earnings call, wait, wrong one. Even on a quarter-over-quarter comparable, Lazy Days RV business keeps getting worse, and Grand Design ain't helping on but the contrary. Just look at these metrics. Revenue for the quarter decreased 8.5%. New unit sales decreased 11.1%. Overall, Lazy Days RV lost $21 million last quarter. $21 million loss. Okay. Gross profits decreased 76%. They had to slash prices on their 22 and 23 year models. Okay. How does all of this relate to frame failure and Grand Design? Well, Grand Design was Lazy Days' largest OEM partner. In 2023, 40% of Lazy Days' new RV sales stemmed from Grand Design. Separately but related, they are mainly selling used versus new. CEOs quote, "There is so much demand for used units, In particular, if you can find 2016 to 2020 models, that stuff is liquid gold. This means new units are not moving. It also means they are avoiding the used COVID units. The CEO even mentions the issues with RVs manufactured during COVID. Okay. Go down here. Oh, if you're looking for additional material, you should provide a breakdown of Grand Design's extended warranty. We'll get into that in a minute. So we're talking about the 5-year frame warranty. We'll break that down in a few minutes here, okay? But just think about this for a second. Lazy Days RV is like the 5th or 6th largest dealership in the United States of America. As far they're a publicly traded company, and they're getting their butt kicked. Okay? And I'm going to go more in depth on this on Monday's podcast episode. But the reality is Lazy Days RV depends so much on Grand Design sales. So does a lot of dealerships like Bish's RV, General RV, especially their Utah store. So here's some of the interesting things. You had all these dealerships that sold the glamour and the glitz of Grand Design, and now they're paying the price. Because here's what I've been trying to say for now 7 months. This should be a message to every Thor Industries brand. This should be a message to every Forest River brand. This should be, if you are anyone but Grand Design, instead of hiding from this problem, you should be attacking this problem. Not attacking it verbally. That's what you have social media presences for. You need to attack and get ahead of this. Because if companies that are solely dependent on companies like Brinkley, Grand Design, these are companies that were owned or are owned by the same group of people, okay? And if they're going to still be brain dead and say, well, there's nothing wrong with Grand Design fifth wheels, the guy on the internet is just full of crap. Okay. Good luck. I mean, who are the customers believing? Are they going to believe Grand Design, or are they going to believe all the customers having the problems? I don't know. This is proof positive that you, the customers, you, the RV community, are sending a message to the manufacturers saying, if you screw up, we're going to treat you like we treated Bud Light, just like we treated Target, just like we treated a lot of these companies that do stupid stuff. If Lazy Days RV had 40% of their sales were Grand Design products last year in 2023, and now they're down to a $21 million loss for a quarter, it's tough to stay in business. It's tough not to file bankruptcy. It's tough to keep doors open at dealership lots. The big corporate RV dealerships and the big corporate RV dealership YouTubers need a come to Jesus with themselves. Do you want to put all your eggs in one basket? There's now a fully operational Brinkley exclusive dealership. I hope Brinkley paid for most of it, because do you really want to put all your eggs into one basket where less than 5% of the RV community can even afford that $120,000 to $150,000 fifth wheel or above? Okay. You have to look at it from the perspective of a customer. I'll give you a great example. I got a call early this morning, and it was from somebody I know personally that went and secret shopped a couple of Grand Design stores. And the reason why I had this couple do this for me was because I've gotten mixed results, a mixed bag of people telling me, "Oh, the dealerships are aware," and then others say, "Oh no, there's no problem." So here's a typical thing. Not going to name names of the dealerships. That's totally unfair, and everybody knows I try to be fair to everybody in this, even though they all think I'm nuts. They visited 5 dealerships that carry Grand Design products. 4 out of the 5 denied there was any problems, and 3 out of the 4 of them said that the people on the internet are just looking for publicity, money, and clout. One dealership said, "Oh yeah, we're aware of the problem." Now, the biggest difference between those 5 dealerships and their responses was what was in inventory. 4 out of the 5 dealers that either said there wasn't a problem or that the YouTubers were looking for clout, roughly a little more than 50% of their inventory was some kind of Grand Design brand. The dealer that said they were aware of the problem, maybe 20-25% of their inventory was Grand Design products. So there's going to be, there's always a thing about politics. Deny, 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 deny. That's the thing. Deny, 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 deny. If you deny it enough, maybe it'll go away. I'm a president of the United States with dementia, but I don't have dementia. Deny, deny, deny. Hey, I paid off somebody that made allegations of me going to bed with them, and they happen to be in the adult film industry, but, deny, 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 right? I mean, that's the first rule of politics. So that's the political, comparison of the industry is that's all these guys want to do is, if it's hurting their paycheck, just deny it. Don't do the homework. Don't sit there and try to figure out a way to maybe bring some brands in. Maybe go down to the auction and go buy some used units and try to get through this mess. No. We're going to deny, deny, deny because we've made so much money on Grand Design that we don't want to lose that profit. So those are things, they're just weird. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to cover the notes that this is from the financial district people. Okay. This was kind of on again, these are investors that are texting me. And this was about the 5-year warranty. Okay. Very interesting that the money people, investors, people that invest money and in this industry and the stock market and stuff are really paying attention to this frame failure. It says, if you are looking for additional material, you should provide an update/breakdown of Grand Design's extended warranty supplemental information. This is the note everyone knows about. However, at the bottom of the page, you will find a link, 5-year frame warranty, which brings you to this gem of a document. Pardon my thing. Okay, go back. Let me go up. He made a list. Okay, here's a list. This is not an extended warranty. It's more or less a Trojan horse designed to stop the bleeding. It's total BS. This is from an investor group, okay? This is from some guys I've been talking to. I'm going to repeat that again. This is not an extended warranty. It's more or less a Trojan horse designed to stop the bleeding. It's total BS. Number one, only original owners qualify. This is how investors read this warranty. These are people that their main job is to make money and not lose money. Okay? So this is how detailed these people are. Owners must have sent via mail and within 30 days of purchase the warranty paperwork. Number three, doesn't cover or split any food or travel expenses. So pretty much they're telling you that if your rig has to be in Elkhart, Indiana for 2 or 3 weeks, you're out the bill. Okay, that's how a financial guy is reading this, just to let you know. Okay. Post-inspection, Grand Design gets to decide if the unit even qualifies, meaning that if the dealership or the service center you send it to says it has frame failure, but Grand Design decides, nope, that's not frame failure, then it won't qualify. Okay. Number 5, Grand Design added language which indicates they won't accept litigation/lawsuits unless they first have the opportunity to evaluate the unit and try to fix it. This is a total BA, and they are reaching and won't stand in court. Grand Design will now do a half-ass job fixing it, probably will make the customer sign some kind of legal release. Okay. Go back up here. Furthermore, this clause is also very telling. Bet the lawsuits have started to pour in, or the threats of lawsuits have started to pour in, and they are just trying to stop the bleeding. If customers still decide to sue, there's a separate clause which states that any litigation would have to physically take place and in accordance to Indiana law. Again, BS, and many judges/states won't allow this. This extended warranty is nothing but a way for Grand Design to screw their customers yet again. That comes from people in the financial district. They have nothing to do with the RV business. Their sole mission is to make money for not only their investors, but themselves as well. You have someone from the outside of the industry, not a customer, not a person at a dealership, not a person at a factory, a person that's part of a fund that is north of $60 billion, sending me this information. Just saying. Let me see if I can get to this. Okay. Okay, this is from a guy that actually lives in New York and works on Wall Street. Don't know if you got the information about Lazy Day's earnings call, but if you haven't, let me give you some of the cliff notes that me and the guys here in New York think. Number 1, to us, it looks like Lazy Day's RV, possibly Bish's RV, and possibly a lot of other Grand Design dealers are going to have to start putting pressure on Winnebago to change out their leadership. I have a feeling at some point there's going to be a golden parachute for President and CEO Don Clark because of the fact that if something does not change, these dealerships will end up closing locations, possibly even filing complete bankruptcy. The one fear on the mind of most investors when it comes to the RV dealership side of the industry is anyone that carries Grand Design and is publicly traded company is going to have a tough time meeting the expectations on both revenue and earnings. Number two, this also is a point of contention amongst most investors, wondering when is Winnebago going to bring in the shiny new toy. You know what we're talking about because you've talked about it the same. At some point, they're going to have to pull the trigger faster than they probably want to cut off the bleeding. Best way to salvage the entire operation is bringing the shiny new penny, that's the big new toy, and build it up faster. And the only way they're going to do that is by putting more investment and money into it to ramp up production to try to counteract the problem with Grand Design. This also would put Winnebago in major debt. That major debt is going to also send some red flags to investors, but if they see that they're going to make their money back and possibly have a better top and bottom line of their earnings report within the next 2 quarters, that new debt would wipe out any concern. But now the big thing comes. How is Winnebago going to respond to allegations of buying dealerships or buying companies? There's going to be a habit at some point where investors are going to question mark, why are you waiting for this particular group of people to build up a company and then buy it? Why are you spending $500 to $600 million to buy each of these companies rather than starting your own brand? These are question marks across the entire floor. It's something that's talked about at lunch and breakfast all across my industry. Because right now, between the auto industry, the RV industry, and the boat industry, we don't know where the bottom will be, and we don't know how the recovery will be. We've built this portfolio up, a lot of companies, based on all the speculative market that occurred over the COVID years with everybody having record profits, record sales. But now all of a sudden we're back into a reverse position, a little different than what happened during the Great Recession, but something very similar. Also want to throw it out there that want to make sure that you're ready, buddy, because when it really hits the fan, there are journalists that are reaching out trying to find and interview you. Enjoy it while you have it, because one day they're going to forget about you. They always forget about the little guy, but we never will. Thank you so much for everything you do. We'll continue to follow up with you as soon as everybody else is doing it. By the way, I want to throw one more thing in there. Camping World Holdings did not have that spectacular of a earnings report, but it was nothing like the slaughterhouse that just occurred with Lazy Days. And if Lazy Days isn't careful and treads lightly, they may end up having one of the worst years on record, and there may be talk about a major takeover, or someone may try to attempt a hostile takeover over the company because of how poorly it's doing and what they can buy the stock at. Good luck, bud. Okay. So just another one of those things, right, that, you know, we're starting to get the attention as the industry, more attention on from Wall Street, from investor groups. You know, and the interesting thing is, where's the federal government in this? Where's NHTSA at? You know, National Highway Transportation Service, whatever they're called. Where are they at? You know, love to kind of know that. Where are they at? By the way, if you made it this far, thank you so much. If you're watching later, please make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Even though I have a pipe dream of a goal, my pipe dream of the goal is for the main channel to hit 100,000 subscribers. If you listen to this later on the podcast, I'd love to hit 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So kind of a pipe dream. I might be having a little bit too much beer in me, if you get my drift. Um, so even though I'm not drinking, I only had half a Modelo so far. Um, oh, by the way, don't forget to get your hats and t-shirts. Summer is almost here. Spread the word by wearing your hat and t-shirt. It helps support the channel. By the way, the channel, the podcast, every time you guys buy something, anytime you buy a shirt, a hat, a coffee mug, a bag, anytime you purchase the merchandise from the store, I reinvest all the money into the actual channel. I don't keep any of the money. It goes right back into reinvestment, because I think that I need to get better equipment. I just paid for a new video editor. I just paid for a new camera. The next goal is to get 5 more phones so that way we can stream on Facebook, Instagram, Rumble, the whole 9 yards. Now, normally I would record this on Rumble, but I didn't. I didn't have the time. There's something else here I want to read. Give me 1 minute. Hey, I just watched your video, and one of the fifth wheels you have in the video belongs to a YouTuber. I saw a something, I can't read that. RV park in Indiana. They were there with the fifth wheel one day in the park unloading and packing, and the next day they came back with a Grand Design Explorer travel trailer. I guess they agreed to swap it out, or maybe they possibly are using the travel trailer like another YouTuber, laugh out loud, and getting paid to keep quiet. These are, I'm telling you, people are smarter than you give them credit for. I already talked about that. Where is it? There's another one. Here we go. This is a great one. This comes from the banking side of the industry. I don't know if you have seen the Lazy Days earnings call yet. I know you'll probably cover it next week, which I am covering on Monday. Just so you know, there are a lot of rumors swirling around. Some of them I believe, some of them I think are kind of pie in the sky type of attempts to try to bury Lazy Days in bad information. But the ones I truly believe are that the amount of sales that they are creating at each of their stores is significantly down, and that there are employees that are questioning whether their paychecks are even going to cash. That's how really bad their situation is. I was out at a Lazy Day store, and the look on every single every look on every salesperson, customer, and manager's faces was defeat. Like, am I going to have a job starting June 1st? Am I going to have a job by the end of the summer? Is the paycheck in my work that I've gone through for this month going to cash? It looks like stress is at an all-time high. Now, I know other dealerships feel the same way, but it just seemed so much more intense inside that Lazy Days dealership than it did anywhere else I visited that day. Looks like, see, when you make a mistake as a business owner, you own up to it and you move on. You own up to it, you learn from it, you correct it, you move on. And to me, one of the greatest defeats of businesses is stubbornness to not adapt to what's going on. Okay? It is absolutely horrendous that people in general are very smart. People in general have common sense. When you start trying to make people think they're stupid is when you run into problems. When you start to insult people's intelligence, that's when you run into problems, okay? Now, I'm going to use politics as an example, okay? I'm going to, whether, and I don't, you could be Republican, Democrat, it doesn't matter. This applies to any politician, but we're going to use our president of the United States as an example, Joe Biden, okay? When Joe Biden goes on interviews, even though the reporters even even the left-wing, far left-wing people that are trying to lead him to answer the question so that way he looks like it's something moving forward, that he has a plan. Every time he's asked about the economy, he either makes people, oh, well, you're crazy for thinking that. The economy's fine. Bull crap, the economy's not fine. Everybody and their mama knows the economy's not fine. And if you don't know the economy's not fine, I'd love to have your bank account. Okay? But the economy's not fine. But again, deny, deny, deny. Okay? Or you're just completely out of touch with reality. So when you start to treat people stupid, like a lot of these RV manufacturers are starting, a lot of these RV brands pretend to do. Like they pretend, no, it's your fault. Grand Design especially, oh, no, it's your fault. Lippert, oh, no, it's the customer's fault. It's mainly the customer. We're not doing anything wrong. We're going to make a list of every reason why it's the customer's fault. People are not stupid. It either shows you're completely out of touch with reality, or you're just stupid. You're just flat out dumb. Or, last but not least, you're afraid. You're afraid of the truth. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Anyway. That's all I have for this evening. I'll have 3 episodes on the podcast next week. I have some finance videos coming out for older used RVs. I'm doing some updates on good credit and fair credit practices and loans coming up next week here on the main channel. And, guys, just enjoy your weekend. Memorial Weekend's coming up soon. I'm going to be doing some fishing videos. I'm going to have a bunch of fun coming up right around Memorial Day. And if she's listening, happy birthday, Katia. Have a good night.